At the time, I didn't know, but the symbolism of waxing and waning candles associated with 3 smiling sculptures depicted in the previous 8th video, it foresaw an undulating, mysterious, spiritual journey of trustfully living one's truth while navigating through ceaseless waves of turmoil and peace, an acceptance that a deeper meaning is hidden in everything that happens. I began to grasp this mystery through the teaching of a beautiful tree. For years I greeted this soul who lived along the road to Nelspruit. It lured me to explore its spirit and to create a sculpture in its honor. It required meticulous record keeping, and I eagerly waited for the first bronze to be cast. In retrospect, I realized that this tree had withheld its supreme guidance till a turbulent time when I was going to appreciate it. I was unprepared for the day when my teacher got cold. This noble indigenous acacia got wiped out together with invader trees, ostensibly to create a large strip of firebrick along the road. The sadness of its demise was exacerbated when subsequently rankest regrowth started hiding its plight. Heartbroken and shocked, I tried to find solace in realizing that at least I will have created a sculpture in its honor and memory. But money could not be channeled towards producing the bronze. The molds were returned because the foundry owners decided to emigrate and couldn't concentrate on sculptures of lesser casting value. Initially, the crucial foliage molds got lost in the foundry, and when they eventually surfaced, I had already surrendered. All things are transitory, reminded my tree teacher. All things are transitory. Its silent voice continuously echoed through all the events that ensued, urging me to let go, surrender, release. I saw that lasting fulfillment and ebullience were not dependent on losing a beloved castle. Other sculptures and paintings, personal possessions, income, physical freedom, medical insurance, life insurance for the benefit of my children, and car insurance. Losing all of this would not entail losing like in a battle. It was surrendering to the trust that the fire of my spirit would keep on glowing. I chose to align with my heart and spirit. I stopped forcing my way upstream, fighting fear. I let go and chose to trust floating downstream. The enlightenment of releasing was more encompassing than just the turmoil linked to the castle. This sculpture is titled Pleading, one of my flagship sculptures, of which a bronze copy generated enough funds to purchase the golden Durante shrubs used all over the castle's garden. Some 17 years ago, while still living in Randburg, the pristine master clay and resin copy could not have foreseen that he was destined to assist in creating pure magic, but that a tornado would gobble up the artist's copy, or that the molds that were stored at the foundry got lost, and thus the possibility of generating any more income. Release, release echoed in my spirit. Release, release. After 17 years, the original clay and resin master copy had deteriorated into faded colors, loss of detail, and detached praying hands. But its poem kept hovering over it. Without excuse, agenda, or attenuation, I plead your mercy. I found myself living inside a sculpture created years ago. It is called Sexual Abuse of Children, depicting a defenseless little girl about to be devoured by a monster. And still the echoing words, surrender, release, surrender, release. They came hiding under bushes to ensure that I don't remove possessions. All keys and codes had to be handed over. I was imprisoned from the rest of the building. I designed the Garden of Love and maintained it with great loving care. They uprooted golden shrubs I planted many years ago and regularly sculpted to perfection. Shrubs to nurture sunbirds, chameleons and painted reed frogs. They were destroyed. Indigenous grass specifically planted to serve Cape and thick-billed weavers. It was obliterated. Spaces of ground cover were stripped, some of it relocated to another property. Magic that always hovered around and within my sculpture, embracing inner terror. This was reduced to desolation. Damage caused by gale force winds were overlooked. Meticulously created yellow beams of hedges were a trademark of the castle. They were left uncared, contorted. The law was ignored by dumping garden rubble in public areas and in a wetland. Equipment previously utilized to maintain the garden were replaced with tedious, unsupervised, costly handheld pruning. The building's integrity was compromised in several ways, ostensibly to maintain and contain damage. But this was a fruitless attempt. For example, the damage persisted. And my nude male sculpture was turned around with its front and thus genitals facing the wall. The space where I previously and mostly single-handedly for 12 years under trying conditions had to care for guests, learn to serve high-standard meals and deal with all facets of a guest house, and maintain the building and the garden. This had been replaced by continuous rattling laughter on the other side of the locked door and windows of my room, and still the echoing words, surrender, release. I hand-washed clothes and bedding. Ironing became something of the past. I shared the room with my beloved dogs. A makeshift kitchen was next to the bed. The vanity was also used to wash dishes next to where I painted and sculpted. Turbulence evaporated and returned as regularly as the moon. Its rhythmic passage laced the castle. But darkness vanished in the presence of brilliant sunrises that are like the loving support of family and friends, the loyal company of my dogs. The magic of nature and the gift of being a creative, these treasures are like illuminating sunsets that always guarantee comfort in the night. Every morning my dogs rush down the stairs, bubbling with joy, anticipating a royal meal. At all times, the prospect of long walkies grew to volcanic exuberance. The endless miracle of beauty showed itself in the smallest of beings. I listened to the silent solo dance of a leaf and gazed at the glittering peace within a dewdrop. To most human beings, the enchanting silent wonder of this minuscule orchid will remain invisible. And this realization inspired the creation of a sculpture in its honor. On our morning walks, those tiny reflecting mirror balls I attached to a structure on the castle's small pond, they always reminded me of the ever-present bright light, even when in despair. This knowing transformed into beautiful colors when I planted cosmos seeds just outside the area where I had been cordoned off. Earlier on, these seeds were harvested from the castle's front garden. Awe and gratitude overflowed in following their passage through life, adoring the fine detail of seeds slowly sprouting from the dark, till they became a jolly dancing crowd of pink, red, and white. Without hesitating, and in spite of their own often difficult journeys, friends and family always were there to lend loving support. Together we gloried in generating our daily bread. We crowned one another with adoration, shared florets, admired the creation of new life, joked about weird and wonderful facets of living, braved the ever-present fears haunting our lives, appreciated mutual love, danced with joyful rockets and white sparkles, gazed with open mouths when discovering the Creator's signature. We reminisced about the beginning of new life, destined to flourish amidst suffering. Financial blessings from these cosmos spirits enabled me to depict the beauty of people with albinism, honor loved ones and colleagues with paintings, create a massive, humorous, three-dimensional multimedia painting titled Feminine Vortex, brush away extreme anger through depicting laughing hyenas pointing at the fiery decay of their own evil and greed, sculpt away warped social perceptions of Satan that simply is an inner shadiness. Amidst despair, the ultimate creator sent loving messengers to my room, like the chameleon constantly reminding to remain adaptable, to keep a low profile amidst extreme provocation, and its grasshopper neighbor saying, "Nurture spiritual growth." With its impressive leaping ability, it inspired trust and courage. Frequent encounters with sunbirds and ladybirds called attention to focus on the bright side of living. Joy was on its way. A Cape robin outside a shower notified me that I was protected. At the same window, in the thick of cobwebs, dust and dirt, I was reminded of the bright light around and within me. It helped me accepting the death of my beloved dog, and at the same time to set light to the past. Fire brought purification from a trademark that was supposed to symbolize freedom. Fire purified the slogan that was intended to offer a blissful experience. Fire sanitized and cremated surrounding malice. It was purified, pounded, and dumped. Some years back, this life-size sculpture of Jesus was destined to be sold on an auction to pay for legal costs claimed by the person whose hands are used to cast the hand molds. I eventually managed to pay the cost and averted the auction. I nevertheless removed malice from the castle's auditorium and set these molds to light, releasing the past, exposing greed. The hands were replaced, but yet again, now, for a second time, with wide open arms and a smile, it stands ready to be gobbled up, ready to be auctioned off yet again by the same person. The tree teacher said it was time to release, to allow for something new. My studio, always neglected and full of chaos because of priorities of completing the castle and running a guest house. The time had arrived to surrender. Even scraping off the sculptor's clay used to build a barricade to contain water seeping through from under the original cottage floor. The clay is now destined for creating a new sculpture. Left behind is 3 medallion sculptures made in 2003 while still living in Randburg. There never was time to complete the castle's perimeter palisades. They have my name inscribed at the bottom. My footprints, my fingerprints are embedded all over the property. All my sculptures have the inscription SDG Soli Deo Gloria, to God alone the glory. The same detail also engraved into the building. The original hand casts for a sculpture are left behind to symbolize my blessing the castle sculpture. The bronze version was cancelled because of legal friction. The original hand casts were part of the sculpture, gently offering a golden orchid of gratitude to the ultimate artist. With leaving these casts behind, I express gratitude for the privilege of being given the opportunity to create and maintain a castle sculpture. An ineffable silence arrived, filling the sky, the wetland next to the castle, the front garden and the building, so that when the date of my departure arrived, I could shed my concrete boots and spread my fiery wings. The eagle's flight continues. In a fragment of ember, I found there was within me an invincible volley, a joyous, cascading, fiery dance of being alive. Even in the midst of darkness, I unapologetically show up in my creative expression, living the fire of my truth. Never to return to the nest, soaring in buoyant uncertainty.